So in this video, I'm going to be going over how to construct a plasticard hinge from scratch. Basically just like this one right here. This is going to be a fairly large one. Of course you can do this in various sizes, but I'm going to be using, this is 030 card for the doors themselves. I'm going to be using 1/8 inch styrene rod, 3/16 styrene tube, which just happens to have a perfect inside diameter for the 1/8 inch rod, some 040 strip, and then some 030 scrap pieces. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the tubes we're going to use on the hinge itself. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of rod and basically set the tubes where we want them. Sometimes the cutting will make the tube a little flat, or it will create some edging. So I just take a 1/8 inch drill bit and kind of route out the inside of the tube a little bit for a slightly better fit. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do, I'm going to set this up the way I want it. Not like that. Just take a piece of tape here and tape the tubes to the rod so they don't spin while I'm trying to glue them on. So we're actually going to put this on the other side here. And for this I'm going to be using the gap filling super glue instead of plastic glue, just because it gives a working time, of about 10 seconds or so, which should be enough. And the gap filling is going to be real important, because we're going to have some gaps to fill. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue right along the bottom of these, like that. It's probably a little bit much actually in this case. And what we're going to try and do is get these rods right here in the middle of the, or the tubes I mean, right in the middle of the plasticard door here, so that they're exactly, or very close to exactly halfway sticking out and relatively straight. This is where the working time of the gap filling glue is kind of important, but you got to give it time to actually set up. So there we go. You can see about approximately half the tube is sticking out over the hinge. I'm going to let that sit up for a few seconds. I have a small piece of tape here on the okay. And then you want to make sure you don't get any glue here on the rod quite yet. So we're going to leave it here, and what we're going to do is going to add a little bit of structure to this, just like I did here with these, just so it's a little bit stronger. That's what the scrap plasticard is going to be used for. Again, you can go pretty much as elaborate or basic as you want to on something like this. Also, using the gap filling glue super glue means you don't have to be quite as precise when making these kind of brackets and braces and things. So we'll just make a little triangle here. There it is, sticking to the paper. We don't want to necessarily have it stick to the get a shape in here so it fits a little better against the tube. With my pliers here so I can do a test fit. So just trying to give a couple trims here till you get a good fit, something like that. I'm just gonna put some glue on it. And again, using the thicker gap filling glue will make this a much stronger bond. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to do the other one, let this set up, and then we'll go back to the and work on the other side. Okay, I'm going to let this part here cure up pretty well. So what we're going to do is we're going to line it up here, and we're going to figure out where we're going to put the mouse on the other side. So we're going to grab our pencil here, kind of roughly mark out where we want to put it. I'm going to put a little piece down here too, so I got some space. So this is where the 040 card comes in, 040 strip comes in. So we're just going to go ahead and make a rough cut here. And something like that. That bottom. Should have plenty of space here where we need it. Yep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the X-Acto knife here. I won't be able to see this very well on camera. Or this would work with a file, or sandpaper with a file this time. Find the file. We're just going to file a bevel in the corner here of the plastic card. Like I said, you probably won't be able to see it very well. The idea here is to give a little more surface area for the rod to stick to. This little piece here and do the same thing. We're going to try to anyway. It's kind of hard to hold on to this. It is so small. Listen, and what we'll do is we're just going to glue these pieces here right onto the edge of the plastic card, or at least as close to the edge as physically possible. We do not want it to hang over. And it's one of those situations where you do need to be kind of quick at it, because you have to position it before the glue sets up. The nice part about the super glue is on plastic like this, it isn't that hard to just cut it back off again if you do make a mistake. Then file down the old super glue and try again. Okay, just like that. So we're going to double check it, and if we need to trim off some of this here, the X-Acto knife, we do that. So then I'm going to take the rod here, some glue on my fingers, and just for alignment's sake, just in case you think you might have these things misaligned, we'll just go through it with the drill bit one more time, just to make sure it's nice and smooth there. So then we're going to go over here, we're going to cut the rod to length, which is right about here. And we do having a little bit of play in the hinge isn't a bad idea. Okay. File down these edges here. It's a little beveled, or tapered I should say, in this case. So it fits in and out. Fits in there a little better. Okay, there we go. So this is the tricky part right here. This is the part where I've frequently had to redo it several times to avoid getting glue where you do not want the glue to go. Okay, I also found out that I put some detail on the other side of this panel right here in the middle, and that was probably a bad idea because it doesn't sit flat anymore. So I'm going to grab some. There we go. Okay, so we're going to line these things up just like that, just where we want them, and then we're going to put in panels right next to each other. And taping them together might not be a bad idea either. Okay. So we're just going to then squirt some glue in these right there. You can take a piece of scrap if you want to and smooth it out in there. Now this will take a little while to set up because this is the gap filling glue, so it is going to stay in there and make a nice little bond. But it doesn't. Don't mess with it for a while. The problem with you don't mess for a while, there's a risk of getting the glue here, gluing the rod to the tube. So you kind of have to mess with it sooner than you want. It's really kind of a catch-22. The best part about this is, again, and until the glue cures completely, it's still not that hard to tear apart. So we're going to let that sit up there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fill in, make some more braces there on the other side of the hinges. So I'm just going to, and this is just all kind of rough cut here. Doesn't need to be all that precise. Make room for the plastic strip in here. Something about like that will usually work. I'm going to test fit. Not too bad. A little more glue here. Reinforce the hinge that way on that side. I'm going to worry about it there. So now we're just going to let it sit there, let everything kind of cure up for a few minutes, and we'll check it out and see how it works. Okay, so that's it. We've let it cure up enough to handle, and we verified that we do have a good moving hinge. Not any problems at all. And you notice there's quite a bit of vertical play in here, which is fine. You can cure this up by adding some strips in here so that the tubes don't fall quite so far down. But then you have to do this very carefully so you don't get obviously glue where you don't want the glue, so the hinge gets stuck. Over here we have a different kind of hinge that I did. This is just a tube that's been glued flat, flush with the door. So then a rod will go through there, and that will give you a full 180-degree range of motion, unlike the other hinge which only has the 90-degree. And you just simply, put a bracket down here and a bracket up here, and you put this basically anywhere. So that's real quick. How to scratch build a plasticard hinge so you can add some movement and motion to your scratch built models. Thanks for watching.